Their faces have been forgotten except to their families and the detectives who have searched for their killer.
But tonight there may finally be justice for three women whose murders shocked Spokane 22 years ago. These women, Yolanda Sapp, Kathy Brisboe, and Nikki Lowe, were all shot to death in early 1990. Their bodies dumped along the Spokane River. Their killer was never found. That's until a chance arrest earlier this year.
Douglas Perry, who now goes by the name Donna, was arrested on a federal charge last March. But what detectives found in his home showed a man who later became a woman had been living with a terrible secret for decades. In a story you saw first on KXLY4, Jeff Humphrey shows us how detectives got their big break in this cold but not forgotten case.
In the first half of 1990, three women working Sprague Avenue were snatched from the street and found dead one after another along the Spokane River. The last woman to die was Kathy Brisboe, and what she did in the last moment she was alive led detectives to her alleged killer.
Kathy Brisboe's body was found near this rail trestle that crosses the Spokane River at Trenton Pines. Like the previous victims, she had been shot and thrown down an embankment. During her autopsy, Brisboe's fingernails were preserved as evidence, and 22 years later, a forensic specialist at the State Patrol Crime Lab found a match to the DNA underneath those nail clippings.
September of 2012 this year, she contacted Detective Dresbeck and asked him if he was sitting down, and told him that she had a positive hit on the DNA from the Brisboe homicide.
The hit matched an inmate already doing time at the Federal Detention Center here at SeaTac, but by now Douglas Perry was Donna Perry, the recipient of a sex change operation.
And going from a man to a woman in 1999. So those are some questions obviously that we're looking at and trying to figure out how or if that played a role whatsoever in any of these homicides.
When detectives searched Perry's North Spokane home inside a painted shut closet, they found women's undergarments. Investigators think, given their size, the panties may be trophies taken from the homicide victims.
22 years later, it looks like it's very possible that some of the items retrieved from the search warrant at Donna Perry's house were from those homicides back in 1990.
Word that a person of interest is in custody after all these years comes as great comfort to Brisboe's family. Her brother Richard is glad Kathy had a hand in solving the homicides and glad the long wait for answers is finally over.
Now that it's come to pass that we have somebody that is a suspect, we're just elated. I mean, it's some way to find closure in an open wound that's been there for 22 years.
Tonight, Perry is inside the Spokane County Jail, and if a sample from her cheek matches the DNA found underneath Brisboe's fingernails, then Perry will be charged with first-degree murder and answer for what happened here along Sprague Avenue more than 2 decades ago. Reporting in Spokane, Jeff Humphrey, KXLY4.